See, the water is elixir of life, and no life can be imagined without water. And looking towards the criticality world over, and especially in our country, looking towards the challenges for the water availability in the future, Honorable Prime Minister have integrated different departments and ministries, because water was the subject for many of the departments in couple of ministries. So the plannings for this critical resource was not holistic in nature. So he has decided to integrate the water subject under and brought it under one umbrella, so that a holistic planning can be done. We all are aware that the water resources worldwide are depleting, and our issues are more critical as far as India is concerned, because we have multifaceted challenges in the water spectrum. First, increasing population. We are the highest populated country in the world, having the largest population. The second thing is urbanization. The entire world is moving towards urbanization, but the speed of urbanization is in our country is the highest in the world. The third thing is industrialization and growth of economy. It is evident from the story of the development of many of the countries that the growth of economy of a country, or rather I should say the graph of the economic development of a country, and the graph of the water requirement of that nation, vis-a-vis the graph of the energy consumption of the nation, it is always identical. So the way our economy is growing, we have come from 1 trillion to 2 to 3 trillion, and now moving towards 5 trillion, and moving towards becoming the third largest economy of the world under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Modi. So at this point, our water requirement and demands in the future, looking towards our economic growth, is going to be very high. Our case is more critical because most of our river basins, barring Himalaya basin, all the rivers are rain-fed. And the total quantum of water which comes into the rivers, of almost 85-90% water comes in 45 days period. That is monsoon period. And apart from that, our criticality is more because our groundwater dependability over groundwater is highest in the world. It is highest in the world. We are withdrawing 1.5 times water than the number 2, second and third, China and America. They cumulatively withdraw the water. And because of this over withdrawal, our groundwater resources are continuously depleting and under stress. The climate change threat and the problems, they are so evident nowadays. And because of that, the rainfall patterns are changing rapidly. Erratic and scanty rainfalls are observed. So in totality, there are many of the challenges in front of the world, but our challenges are even bigger and larger. So the availability of water doesn't become a roadblock. Honorable Prime Minister have integrated entire system of the water, paraphernalia of the water. And in last 10 years, we have taken multifaceted approach to deal with this critical subject. Number one, we have tried to increase our irrigation potential by constructing dams or completing the dams or dam projects which were hanging for last for 30-40 years. And 107 projects were identified across the country which were lying uncompleted. Out of those, almost 75 projects have been completed. And 3 million hectare new command area have been generated. Apart from that, we are working on the world's largest dam rehabilitation program. It is with the assistance of the World Bank and a 10,000 crore rupees program, because 25%, more than 25% of our dams and reservoirs are more than 100 years old.
Yeah, that is what.
Though there is no connection between the serviceability and the longevity of or the age of the dam, because the country's oldest dam which is still providing service is Grand Anakat, which was constructed by the Chola Kingdom in 2000 years ago. So there is no direct connect, but still, because these concrete dams, they have their own challenges, so they need to be maintained. So first we brought a legislation in the parliament which was passed and then became an act, that's the Dam Safety Act, because though no standard dam safety protocol was there in our country, and water being the state subject, all the states were doing different, moving in different directions. So first we crafted a legislation, and now we are doing the world's largest dam rehabilitation program, in which successfully we have completed 250 plus dams, and now we are working on 735 dams, 736 dams. Apart from that, since our groundwater dependability is highest in the world, as I have said that we are withdrawing huge quantum of water and our water resources are under threat. So we have initiated for the first time in our country a program which works for demand side management. Otherwise we were working on supply side management, from where water can come, what can be made available. Now we have started working that how the available water can be used with an efficacy and judiciously. And since we are aware that agriculture is the largest consumer of water, so we have to save water in agriculture. And apart from that, water which is being used for the domestic purposes, and it goes out as a sewage water or grey water, and ultimately drained or discharged into the rivers or water bodies and contaminate river water or freshwater resources. So to break this cycle, this vicious cycle, and come out of the trap, we have started working as a pilot program worth 6,000 crores with the name of Atal Bhujal Yojana, where we are working on groundwater recharge and working with public participation for demand side management. The third major initiative which we have taken as far as the groundwater is concerned, looking towards the criticality of groundwater for our nation, we have taken a program of national aquifer mapping, and we have mapped entire 25 lakh square kilometer mappable area of the country. And now we are preparing the plans for each and every Gram Panchayat where the water recharge related activities are to be done in the future. So Panchayat should be aware that what type of activity is to be taken, what sort of initiative is to be taken, because of the varied strata all across the geographical area of the country. Simultaneously, we have initiated a program for river water cleaning under the aegis of Honorable Prime Minister with the tag of Namami Gange. And in last 10 years, almost 9 years are going to complete. I can say with the proud that the last decade was considered by United Nations as decade of restoration of natural resources in the world, and the entries from all across the world were invited by the United Nations. 160 countries have sent their entries of their initiations what they have taken. Out of all 160 entries, our mission Namami Gange has been considered as among the top 10 initiatives across the world. And despite the world's most interacted or human interacted river, our river Ganga is one of the pristine river in the world now. It is it qualifies all across its length for the river water quality of international standards. Now we, after completing successfully on river Ganga's main stream, now we have started working on the tributaries of order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of river Ganga. Apart from this, river cleaning program, we have taken an initiative, and that again is the world's largest program, which is providing drinking water to each and every household. That is Jal Jeevan Mission, and through Jal Jeevan Mission, we have to provide drinking water, quality drinking water, within prescribed quantity, and continuously providing that. So in that program, we have to provide 19.4 crore total connections, number of rural households. When this program was announced by the Prime Minister, there was only 16% people of the country, rural India, they were getting drinking water through the taps in their home. Despite we have lost 2 years in COVID, but still I can say with pride that more than 73% of the people are getting drinking water in their houses, in their homes. So almost 14 crore people we are getting water, and they are provided with the new connections, and they are getting water through this Jal Jeevan Mission. And by 2024, this year's end, we hope that we will be able to connect each and every household of the country. So these are the major programs which I can say that we are working in water domain. And the one other initiative which was driven by Honorable late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee to interlinks the rivers, because in our country it is evident and it is observed that almost 13-14% of area is inundated every year because of flood, and almost equal area it observes drought every year. So the ideal situation is to connect rivers, interlink the rivers, and transfer the water from surplus basins to deficit basins. So this initiative, earlier when it was planned by the then government, but unfortunately he lost the government and he became out of the power. And the government which was there for 10 years, from 4 to 14, the UPA government, they have not chosen to take that forward. But after Modi ji becoming Prime Minister, we have started. We have prepared, we have identified links, we have prepared the DPRs for those links and shared with the states, because in our country this water is a state subject, and primarily it is to be the consensus is to be built by the state and between the states. But I can say happily that the first interlinkage program to link River Ken and Betwa, which is going to facilitate the driest zone in the country, which is Bundelkhand, and it is going to irrigate almost 5 lakh acres land and going to cater 6 million people for their drinking water requirements. It is on the contract stage. It is the work orders are to be given. Everything has been done. Everything. The project is sanctioned. All statutory clearances, wildlife clearance, forest clearance, environment clearance, tribal clearance, all clearance have been taken up. We have planned it to complete this project in 5 years. So with all these programs which I have mentioned and briefly, India is the country which is spending most in the water spectrum in the world. Our total investment in the water sector for this 10 years period is almost equivalent to 250 billion US dollars. Water is the sector where private investment is very, very, very less in the country. But we have introduced some new models in the contracts. That is hybrid annuity model where public participation is coming or private funding is coming, and it has become very, very successful as far as the water spectrum is concerned. For the sewage water treatment and the drinking water treatment plants, the people are coming up, and this hybrid annuity mode is becoming successful every year. See, as far as the water is concerned, it is a state subject as per our constitution. So all these things what you have mentioned or you have discussed about, they falls under the domain of the state governments. Government of India being a water state subject, we directly cannot intervene. We even cannot legislate. All the legislations are to be made by the state governments. But I am sure, and I do agree that the encroachments over water bodies are happening and evident all over the country. In fact, when I became the minister, I just checked with the officers. I was having a meeting. I asked that how many number of dams are there in the country. This question I have asked thrice and I have got 3 different answers. My ministry was not even aware that how many number of dams are there in the country. We have created a platform where entire water data can be put forward. So when we have started asking the states to submit geotag and geocoordinates coordinate data of their reservoirs of particular size, you will be surprised that states were even apprehensive and they were not giving the data, they were not ready to share data. Again we have pushed them. Some of the geocoordinates which were given to me by the state governments or shared by the state governments, when I log in them into the Google map, I found those reservoirs in Pacific Ocean. So finally, we have worked closely with the states. We got them convinced, and finally we are able to create a database of entire water reservoirs of the country. After that, when Honorable Prime Minister have taken an initiative in the name of Jal Shakti Abhiyan. Jal Shakti Abhiyan basically, where in 2019 we had identified 256 odd districts all across the country where the groundwater is a big, comparatively larger challenge. Knowing the fact that the rainwater harvesting is to be increased and it has to become a people's movement, the senior officers working in Government of India, officers of Joint Secretary and above level, and the technical officers working in my ministry, we have created teams for the districts and we have sent a team to each and every district. The officers, they went twice, thrice, and they created a buzz for water harvesting, afforestation, maintenance and rejuvenation of traditional water bodies, groundwater recharge related activities, and with all those activities, and a buzz was felt and it was created. and there was a huge demand that it is to be increased across the country. But in 20 and 2021 both were washed away because of the COVID. 2022 we have taken another initiative with the name of Catch the Rain name, where it falls and whenever it falls. And with that initiative we have sent teams to all 720 districts of the country. And we have started a Jal Shakti Kendra in every district, where all water related informations were made available. All the maps, how groundwater can be stored, what initiatives can be or should be taken for groundwater which recharge in that particular district or different part of that district. And with that buzz, millions of activities have been taken up by the states, by the local bodies, by the NGOs, by the different societies. And the outcome of that program is that buzz which was created under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister and continuous persuasion of Honorable Prime Minister, continuous discussing water related issues and all possible platforms, maybe it is Man Ki Baat or whatever it is. People's concern for groundwater related activities is increased. And the platform what we have created, in that we have requested the people that whatever water body you can identify or I have seen, you just click a picture with geo coordinates and send it to us. So with that we could tag almost 1.8 million water bodies all across the country. And उन 18 lakh water bodies में से which we have identified, now we are seeking the papers and the revenue documents for those water bodies, so that at least in the future nobody will be able to encroach them and gulp them out. Honorable Prime Minister have written a letter to each and every panchayat, sarpanch of each and every panchayat, 2.5 lakhs panchayats are there, and requested them to organize a Gram Sabha's meeting dedicated for the water. So that again have created a buzz and have supported us to gather this data and create awareness for water conservation. We, Honorable Prime Minister, since the year which we are going on is a year of 75 years celebration of the Indian independence, and this year he has been named as Amrit Varsha, Amrit Kal of the country. Honorable Prime Minister have requested and he has given a clarion call that every district should make 75 new reservoirs or rejuvenate the old water bodies or old water structures. So when we have taken this initiative, I was thinking that it is 75 multiplied by 700 plus districts, so 50,000 water bodies are going to be constructed. But I am so happy to share that more than 1 lakh of water bodies have been taken up. There are 2-3 type of things. First of all, that is not our spectrum. As I have stated, it's state subject. Water and agriculture both are the state subject. So all the initiatives are to be taken up by the states primarily. But Government of India extends support for micro irrigation and smart irrigation. We have taken pilot projects for automation of canal networks so that water can be saved through them. But apart from that, we have to work rigorously for reducing the use of water for the crops. See, it is told and it is observed that in India our requirement for growing a kilogram of rice paddy is almost 5600 liters. And in China they are growing for similar quantity of rice, they are growing for 350 liters. We have those technologies, we have those type of seeds varieties, but they have not been adapted by the people, because agriculture extension is a state subject and again states have not worked seriously into that. So with the working closely with the states, we are pushing that. We are promoting the direct seeding of rice so that water use can be reduced. But ultimately, we have to work for crop diversification. Some of the states under our request, they have taken initiative like Haryana, if I mention, they have taken an initiative with the name of Pani Bachao, Paisa Kamao. So these type of initiatives where they have incentivized the farmers to grow maize in spite of the rice paddy. So ultimately we have to work for incentivization to the farmers, which we have started working on the pilot basis. We are working on that. We have whatever water we are recycling or we are just cleaning the sewage and the infrastructure we have created. Our primary objective for the water which is being treated through the sewage treatment plant, that it is being consumed either by the industry. We have entered into an agreement with the refineries, with the thermal power plants, so that water can be consumed by those, and those industries, they are large consumers of the water. And the water which they are withdrawing obviously from that river as a fresh water can be reduced. We are incentivizing the state governments and promoting them and requesting them to use as much as water they can use the treated water, because it's absolutely good for the agriculture purpose, in the agriculture, in the farm fields. But still, as far as the sludge is concerned, that we are converting into the fertilizer and using that as a fertilizer in the all across the area. As far as the organic waste which comes, we in couple of sewage treatment plants we have developed in such a manner that organic waste can be constructed, we can be converted into energy. So it's a holistic zero energy requirement projects we have already started and they are functional. As far as the plastic is concerned, again, not only in this river cleaning program, otherwise also, because sanitation also is a part of my ministry, Swachh Bharat Mission falls under our umbrella. So we have started creating infrastructure for plastic waste management all across the rural India. And thousands that type of plastic waste collection and ultimate disposal units are being constructed and under construction. We have created all type of these type of platforms. As far as drinking water is concerned, we have created a dashboard where I can tell you sitting here that how many connections in which village of which taluka of which district and to whom it has been given. I can tell you sitting here how many number of connections were given, how what financially how much money was spent by which state in last 3 days. I can tell you here. The National Water Informatics Center what we have created, I can tell you the entire data in detail for each and every water body or the structure of the country. India is among the only 3 countries in the world which has the capacity and capabilities to forecast flood 7 days in advance. So in that spectrum also we are doing. All the sewage treatment infrastructures we have created so far in the Ganga basin under the Namami Gange mission. They are all connected with the SCADA system, and the entire data is real time shared in my office and my computer. So I can tell you which sewage treatment plant have discharged what type of quality of water into river today or last night, and all the dams and reservoirs of 150 larger dam which has the capacity of 82% capacity of the total reservoir capacity of the country. That lies under 150 large dams of the country. The entire data of water intake and discharge of each and every liter is known to me sitting here. We have created platforms for all those things. Ultimately, this is not a universal fact or total fact that canals often they are washed away. They are vulnerable structures because there are canals in our country which were constructed pre-independence time, and they were kacha line canal, but still they are functional. But still, we have to work on upgradation and maintenance. My ministry is working for that. Canal that is. Canal Area Development and Water Management Program, CAT-WM program. We are providing assistance to the states for upgradation of their existing canal structures and system. And under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, we are working that these type of situations where the constructions of canals and reservoirs or dams were used to be in piecemeal. That should not happen. Whatever project we take or initiates, it is designed holistically and it is to be completed simultaneously. See, the cost of construction of reservoirs and dams and canals is continuously increasing day by day. So the civil engineers need to work out that how we can reduce the cost of construction and time of construction. They are the two things which are of the major concern for the country and the world at large. Simultaneously, looking towards the losses, transmission losses of the water and evaporation losses, we need to work out. And the engineers have to find low-cost solutions. Though there are solutions and countries moving towards the pressurized pipe irrigation networks, but that is very expensive. For the country like India, it is almost unaffordable. So we have to find out some solutions where the low-cost water transmission technologies can be developed. And the third thing is that how the system can be integrated, where the abandoned tube wells and the hand pumps which were constructed or dug before in last 20, 30, 40 years time, they can be utilized for groundwater recharge structures. So these are 3-4 things where we can work majorly.